How's it going, guys? Cameron here, Canadian Gamer, coming at you with a quick little final thoughts CG reviews episode. Before we get into today's game that we're going to talk about, I did pick up a movie here, directed by Douglas Turnbull, if I'm not mistaken, who was the lead in terms of the special effects in 2001: A Space Odyssey, and then Douglas ended up coming out with 2010, the year we make contact. He directed that. And then he came out with Life Force. Came out in the early 80s. Haven't seen it. It's gotten quite the reappraisal over the last couple of years, so I'm interested in checking this out. And the special effects, of course. So not much else I can say about that. It's in a nice original movie store VHS box. I think you guys can appreciate that. So today we are talking about The Darkness. Now the reason why I want to just kind of roll this out as kind of like a final thoughts video instead of a full-on review is just so much to take in with this game. I kind of want to just throw this video out and just see if there's anyone out there that watches it that has not only played this game but has played it all the way through and feels the same way about this game as I do, because I was blown away. So without, hopefully not going all over the map here, I'm not really into comics, okay? This game is based on a comic series, I guess, that came out in the early 2000s, or maybe the comic came out at the same time as the game. I'm not quite sure. But you start as Jackie Escardo. Is that how you pronounce it? And I don't want to give away too much of the story. I'm not even going to show any gameplay footage. I'd rather you guys go out and check out the game if you have not played it or seen it. But one of the craziest intros to a video game I have ever seen. It almost plays out almost like a on rails shooter, the way that you're in this car and you're working for the New York mob. It takes place in New York City. Everybody's Italian, and you're going through this tunnel, and these guys are chasing after you. It's amazing for a 2007, early-ish 7th gen game. This game oozes style and aesthetic as much as Max Payne, if not more. And so just a crazy, crazy intro. And then shortly after the intro, you get into the game. And again, it's not, I wouldn't classify it as a first-person shooter. Okay, it has first-person shooter elements, but it has a lot of slow-paced elements where you're walking around and you're talking to people. And the game, again, takes place in New York City, and you go through like almost like the 5 boroughs, and it's connected through the subway. It's not as complicated as it sounds. You jump on the subway, you know exactly where you're going. It's very easy to navigate. But very, very early on in the game, your girlfriend gets shot and killed right in front of you, and it's like a holy fuck moment. And actually, if we could just rewind a bit, even before that, there's a real cool scene at the beginning of the game where you go over to her apartment and you sit down with her on the couch. It's really dark, and again, it oozes like a kind of like a neo-noir, film noir aesthetic. And you're sitting on the couch with her, and she falls asleep, and you're watching TV. And the game, the developers, Starbreeze Studios, did this game. Okay, the same guys that did Escape from Butcher Bay. They actually, the developers or the designers, whatever, they put in full-length movies into this game. So like you could sit down on the couch and whatever movies, like actual old movies, cartoons, and there's a couple of movies like full length. We're talking like an hour and a half. You could sit there and watch the whole goddamn thing. Talk about attention to detail. Holy cow. But just that scene where it's like it's at night, you're in her apartment, it's pretty dark, and you're sitting on the couch and you're just sitting there and the TV's on. It's like we've all kind of been there before. We've all kind of had that sort of moment in our life where you're hanging out with your girlfriend. Maybe you're in your early 20s and you guys have an apartment. It's just really, it hits close to home. It's a real cool moment that they put into the game. Really cool. It gets talked about quite a bit. The game has such a huge emphasis on the darkness, and this is like a kind of like a thing that comes out of you. It's like these two, almost like snakes, one on each side of your shoulder, right? It's a special power that you have, and it only comes out. You can only utilize it in the darkness. Okay, if there's light, you cannot use the special power. Again, I'm not talking about the story too much. So you guys are probably wondering what the fuck I'm talking about, but there's huge emphasis on darkness in the game. And you can, again, destructible environments, you can basically blow up and shoot anything. But wherever there's light, you can point your gun at it, and your reticle, the red dot, will sort of just cling to it. And then it's like auto aim, right? But it's for the lights. And you can shoot the lights out. Well, you're supposed to. And you shoot the lights out, it's less likely for the bad guys to come out and start attacking you. Again, it's not a first-person shooter, but there are some areas where if you just sort of run right through the area and you don't take out the lights, you could get shot at. The game is just like one big fucking trip. You know what I mean? It's one big trip. And like there's a couple parts where you go back in time, and it's like you're in the middle of like the war, and there's these Nazis running around, and like there's like a huge train, and you gotta launch a missile at a castle door, and the sky is red. And again, the game uses the light, not the lighting, but like the way that the game Starbreeze implemented the shadows in the game. It's amazing. It's so amazing. The shadows in the game blow away a lot of modern games that use shadows, even without ray tracing and all these special effects that obviously these older consoles didn't have. It reminds me of the original Splinter Cell. That's another one on the OG Xbox. They have it. Again, it used shadows to great length to enhance the immersion. But yeah, the graphics in the darkness are awesome. Really good graphics. The game has no loading. I guess the V-Sync is enabled on this game, maybe because I'm running it on my Xbox Series X, but there's no screen, there's no screen tearing. Yeah, the graphics look really good. The game is long enough. Gosh, it took me about a week to beat, but it's not too long. The difficulty is just right now. I did play it on easy. Now let's talk about the voice acting. The voice acting is really good. Whoever voiced Jackie did a really good job. He's got a real thick Italian accent. Really good. And Mike Patton voiced the darkness, okay? And you'll see it when you play the game. You'll hear it. Now, it's just funny because a lot of times, not always, but a lot of times people that are in the gaming community, they're into gaming, okay? They don't read books. They don't listen to music. They don't watch movies. Not always, but a lot of times, right? So yeah, I was watching a review for this game before I had played it from G-Man Lives, and he's a bigger YouTuber, and he was like, yeah, this game's got some guy by the name of Mike Patton that does the voice for the darkness, and yeah, he must have really strained his vocal cords. He did a really good job. Like anybody that listens to progressive rock or alternative or metal from the 90s, you know who Mike Patton is. The guy is fucking legend, okay? I have several albums with him on vocals, okay? The guy's the lead singer of Faith No More. How do you not know who Mike Patton is? Mike Patton, he's one of the greatest hard rock, I hate to use the term metal because Faith No More is all over the place, right? If you listen to Faith No More. But Mike Patton has an incredible voice, and he is always sort of dabbling in different projects. He's been featured probably on over 500 different albums out there. If you look him up on Wikipedia, it's crazy. He was in Mr. Bungle, which was his original band, Phantom Ass. Again, he was in Faith No More, Tomahawk, a couple other bands. So I know who he is. So when I play this game, I instantly recognized his voice because it sounds just like Mike Patton. But to anyone who is in the gaming community that doesn't really listen to music, they wouldn't, maybe it wouldn't resonate like it did with me. It's a really cool connection to see Mike Patton in this game because I'm just such a huge fan of the guy. I'm such a huge fan. And the music in the game, the music is so moody and dark, and it fits the tone of the game just perfectly. And there's just so many amazing set pieces in the game. There's one part where you're down at Pier 19. It's like a dock, and there's like a shootout that occurs, and then you get on a boat. You get on this boat, and then you go over to this mansion at the end of the game. It's so cool. It's so cool. I enjoyed this game so much. I have nothing negative to say about the game. I know some modern reviewers have mentioned that the shooting is a little bit janky and a little bit clunky in the game, but I don't think the shooting mechanics was really something that Starbreeze spent a lot of time on because it's not really the main aspect of the game. It's part of it, okay? It's part of it, so it can be forgiven. It's not, like I said, it's not really a first-person shooter, okay? It just happens to be a game where you're walking around, you're interacting with people, you're talking with people, and there are certain sections where you pull your gun out and you start shooting. But it's by no means, this is not like a hardcore first-person shooter. But all that being said, I really have nothing bad to say about this game. This is one of those rare instances where the game is just so immersive. It takes you to a place like you feel like you're in the game. You get emotionally attached to the characters, and really good story, obviously. And for someone who's not really into comics, it didn't matter. This game pulled me in. And I'm glad that I was able to see it all the way through. Because at the beginning, I wasn't too sure. At the beginning, I was like, is this like a stealth game? Because I'm not really crazy on stealth games. I'm like, what am I getting myself into here? I'm like, he's not really using his guns. Oh, you get twin pistols, by the way, in the game. I'm like, he's not really using his guns. What's going on? Step out of the shadows and I'm getting attacked. I'm getting blown away. I'm like, what the hell is going on? But no, it was good. I had to resort to a GameFAQs, a walkthrough, a couple of times. A couple of times I got stuck. I didn't know where to go. What else? There's something else that I wanted to critique about the game. Oh yeah, the game is so dark that I actually had to sort of like increase the gamma in game, not on my TV. To brighten it up a bit to see where I was. Like there were doors that I didn't even know they were there because they were in the shadows and it was pitch dark. So in the game, there's different color settings and gamma settings you can play around with. So yeah, it's really cool. There's not a lot. There's several side quests as well that I skipped over because I wanted to sort of get through the game because I got other games to get through. I know that's horrible to say because I was enjoying this game so much, but I wanted to see its conclusion because I wanted to move on to The Darkness 2, which I ended up putting on tonight, and I played about 45 minutes of. Wow. Amazing, but quite different. I'm not even showing the right game here. Amazing, but quite different than this one. Quite different. This one has got cel-shaded graphics. Very similar to the game 10? Was it 10? Is that what it's called? But it's still story-driven. This one's got a lot of licensed music in it. A lot of licensed music. Wow. Mike Patton returns as the voice of the darkness in this one as well. This came out in 2012. But my God, the graphics are good in this game. My God. Wow. But the emphasis on staying in the dark and the game being super, super dark and shooting out the lights, not quite the same in this game as it is in this game. This is very much a slow plotting affair. It's a slow burn. And that's why I love this so much. This one here is a lot more action focused. There is a lot more gunplay. This does play a lot more like a first person shooter. However, when you get to the end of a chapter, there are parts where it slows down and you get to interact with the characters and you get to talk to your girlfriend through these sort of I don't know what it is. It's like dream sequences where you're talking to your love interest, Jenny. So I don't want to talk too much more about this, but yeah, I jumped right. I had to jump right into it. But no, I'm enjoying it for different reasons. It's very different than this. It's not worse or better. I'd probably say maybe this one's a little bit better, yes. But though this is good. Don't sleep on this one. This one's really good. A different voice actor for Jackie, but he sounds very similar. But it's crazy that we probably will never get a Darkness 3. It's crazy. The games are very violent. There's a lot of blood. There's a lot of violence. There's a lot of... not nudity, but there's a lot of coarse language. But yeah, I just, I apologize I don't have any footage to show, but it's a slow affair. And like for me to try to set up my camcorder and shoot the TV and get key segments, and it was just too much effort for me, okay? But yeah, all that being said, I'm giving it a 10 out of 10. I have nothing negative to say about this game. I am fucking blown away by this. I can't believe I never knew about this. It's my understanding the frame rate is terrible on the PS3 version of this, so if you're going to play it, get the Xbox 360 version. Yeah, this is just, whoa. Amazing. Complete inbox. But yeah, no, I'm gonna try to plow through this. Seeing as this is more of a linear, as this one's a little bit. This is linear to a certain extent as well, but it's kind of open worldish. But this one is linear. This is chapter. From what I understand, this is chapter to chapter to chapter. So I should be able to complete this, I imagine, much quicker than it took me to complete this, because I sort of took my time with this. But all that being said, yeah, I love The Darkness, and I was happy. I was excited to put this video. I just put a video out last night, and I was going to wait a few days to put out another one. But I was overly enthusiastic about giving you guys, sharing my final thoughts on The Darkness. I know these videos probably, like this video, like a lot of my other review videos, it's not going to get a lot of views, but it doesn't matter. If there's like one person or two people that leave a comment that might reach out to me and be like, hey, I fucking love that game. I hear you. Then that's all I'm really looking for. So, yeah, so that's it. That's it for The Darkness. Darkness 2. And we'll be back with something a little bit later. I hope you guys have a good rest of your night. Jackie, stay in the dark. Jackie, stay in the dark. Anyways, guys, that's going to do it for me. Thanks so much for watching. Have a good night.